Okay, so welcome to the live coding session for week one. So I have a couple of announcements before we start with the live coding session. So first of all, from week two onwards, we are releasing activity assignment for 3 bonus marks. Okay, the announcement regarding this has already been sent. Apart from this, please don't miss uh, any week's GRPA assignments because your OPP eligibility will depend on those. You will need to check your grading document carefully. Just read it so you will know the grading details and everything. Okay, but for the OPP examination, the eligibility criteria depends on the GRPS, so please don't miss it. Okay, so now coming to the live sessions. Sorry, the live session. So we will be having two different live sessions. One will be the open live session where the concepts of the week will be discussed, and then there will be this kind of a live coding session wherein we will be releasing some coding problems. Okay, the coding problems for this week have already been released. Okay, so we will be releasing the coding problems at around between around 7 to 8. Okay, between the in the last 1 hour or something we will be releasing the coding assignment. So if you want, you can look into the questions or the problems beforehand itself before joining the session. During the session, the plan is during this live coding session, the plan is we will discuss the problem, what the problem statement is, how to approach the problem. Okay, and then we do expect you to solve it online, but because of the time constraints, we will be directly solving the problem itself. Okay, we'll show you uh, 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 we will show you what exactly the solution is. Okay, so we encourage you to like offline when you try to practice on the problems, when you try to solve the problems, we encourage you to solve it yourself, but we will be showing you how to solve the problem. We will give you the solution, like for this particular week especially, we will show you how to solve the problem, the code itself, and we'll show you how to run and test and everything. But for the other weeks, we encourage you to solve the problem at your end. We will discuss the solution to the problems. We will discuss on how to approach the problems, and at your end offline you can look into it. You can please don't try to just find the solution. All of these problems you can find the solutions, the programs online, but we will suggest you not to do that. Okay, because you already have a coding exam and everything, so you will need to learn how to code this and how to design the program and everything. Okay, so we will be sharing the coding sorry, we will be sharing the problem statements. You have to, when you try to approach them, when you try to solve the problem statements, try to do it on your own. And when you are having some difficulty, then please refer to the YouTube video and everything. Okay, so there are some comments over here. Ma'am, this session is not streaming on YouTube. I have already started the streaming. I am sharing the live stream URL on this in call messages. So look into it. You can look into the link. Okay. Can you please share the link? I have shared it just now. What else is there? Your screen is not visible. I have not yet started sharing my screen. Okay. Okay. So for this particular week, we are having 6 different problems. So I'll show you how to solve. What I'll explain you the problem statements, and I will show where are the bonus assignments released. The bonus assignments will be released from next week onwards. For this week, we have not released the bonus assignments. Okay. So let me just start sharing my screen. Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
This problems are related to the week one. It's under the week one.
Yes, it's related to week one problems.
Okay,
The problems are from week.
sure.
The problems will be for this particular week. The problems that we will be addressing will be on basics of Python. Okay, the different problems that you might have seen earlier. Okay, Okay, it will give you an idea on how to write these Python codes, on how to like use this design these small Python programs using loops and strings and everything. Okay, list and everything, some few data structures like list and strings that you will encounter a lot in this course during the duration of this course, and how to approach these Python problems, how to code in Python and stuff like that. That's the idea for this week's live coding session. Okay.
Ma'am, it will be related to our GRPAs and practice programming assignments.
The GRPA for this week will most likely be on the yes for every week the GRPAs will be related to the live coding problem sessions of the live coding problems of the same week. Like for example, in the next week you will be having some code questions on the complexity part and everything. So that similar kind of problem you will be having for the GRPAs and everything. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, is the
Okay.
session is not streaming in YouTube?
I shared the link. Is it still not visible?
No, ma'am.
Hang on, let me check. Let me check just a minute. Let me check. Yeah, it is being streamed. I can play it on a different browser on my system. Okay. Okay, so let's go to the problem statements. Okay, so this is the first question. So this is the first question. The question is the question. Okay, so here's the question. So this is an overview of the problem. When you go to live coding, I'll just give you an introduction to the ID. Okay, so when you go to this live code, yes, yeah. Okay, so when you go to this live coding session problems, you click on the problem number, which problem you want to attempt. Okay, you click on over here, and here you will see this is an overview of the problem, the instructions, then the summary, then public tests, whatever you have passed, the details, the private tests details. Okay, then here you will be having the question. Okay, here the test cases, these are only the public tests. Okay, private tests are locked, only public tests are accessible. Okay, you can look into the problem inputs and the expected output for each of the public test. Okay, this is scenario one, the test number one, the input set one, this is input set 2, this is input set 3. Okay, and then here the solution will be available, I believe, in a couple of weeks or something. This is the solution, but it will be locked temporarily. Okay, so let's you can code over here. This course whatever is given here, please don't delete that, otherwise your program will not run. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to write whatever you will be expected to write a Python function every time. Okay, you are supposed to write this Python function. You have to define the Python function and write the Python function. So write the Python function before these lines. Okay, if it is written here prefix over here, there might be some statements like there will be something like this is the prefix part. Okay, and here it might be written that this is the suffix part. Okay, then you have to code between these two. Okay, prefix after the prefix and before the suffix. Okay, here this is the suffix, so you have to code before this part of the code. Okay, do not delete any code which is already written in this part, otherwise it will not work. Okay, so now here's the problem statement. The question is, we are given a positive integer m Okay, let's say we are having some positive integer 6. Okay, now we can write it as a product of two prime numbers, right? 2 is a prime number, 3 is a prime number. 2 cross 3, 2 times 3 will give you 6. Okay, so you can write 6 as a product of two prime numbers p and q, right? 2 and 3. Okay, for this particular example, 6 can be written as a product of 2 and 3, but both 2 and 3 are prime numbers. So here we are having a positive integer. For this particular question, you will be given a positive integer. The input is a positive integer. You have to find whether there are two numbers, two prime numbers, more specifically two prime numbers, such that when you multiply these prime numbers, you will get the input m. Okay, so you have to, so basically prime product means a positive integer m can be written as the product of two prime numbers, and your question is, the question here is, you have to find whether the given integer m is a prime product or not. Okay, excuse me. So how do you know that? So what do you do? How can you know whether the product M will be a prime product or not? How do you know whether M is a prime product or not? So to do that, what we are going to do is we are going to iterate through every possible number until M, all the factors of M. We will look into all the factors, possible factors of M, and we will check if this factor is a prime number. If it is a prime number, then when we divide m by this particular prime number, whatever will be the remaining quotient. So the quotient and this particular factor, when you multiply it, you will be getting m, right? So when you are so we will go to that quotient and we will check if this quotient is also a prime number or not. Okay, so that's what the idea is. What we will do is we have so what we will do is we have okay, so let's just define the function. We will write the function, right? We have to write a Python function called prime product of m. So we will define this function, prime product of m. Okay, so we will define this prime product of m, okay, this function, and what this function will do, this function will iterate over all possible factors of m. Okay, let's say p is a factor. Okay, suppose p is a factor. Suppose p is a factor. Okay, I am just writing it over here. Okay, I hope you know that this hash represents one line comments. So whatever is written after this hash, this entire portion will not be executed. Okay, will not be run by the Python. Similarly, this triple quotes represent multi-line comments. So anything you write between these three triple quotes, so you start with three quotes and end with three quotes. Okay, whatever you write in between them, it will not be executed. Okay, so I'm just writing the idea for this program over here. Okay, so what let me just increase the font size. Okay, so what we are going to do is we will iterate over all possible factors of m. Let's say p is a factor. Let p is a factor of m. Okay, so what happens, there is some value q such that p times q will be equal to m, then only we say that p is a factor of m, right? So how do we find q? How do we find q? So if p into q is equal to m, then we know that q will be equals to m divided by p, right? But now notice that because these are factors, that means m will be divisible by p. Okay, so q can be an integer also. So we can have that. We can have the double divide. We can use the double divide over here. Okay, so when we find the quotient, when we divide m with p, we will obtain q. Okay, so now we have to find that. So what we are going to do is we will iterate over every factor of m. Okay, and we will see that this complementary factor, the other factor which when we multiply this q thing, let's say we are going to find every p, and for every p whatever is the q we will find q. Okay, and then what we are going to do is we will find whether both p and q are prime numbers or not. Okay, so how to find the so let's just write the program over here. So what we are going to do is I'll just write a loop for p in range m. Okay, so we are iterating over m. So the range, the function range, what it will do is range of m means it will start from 0 and it will go until m minus 1. Okay, so for every value of p, this is the only possible number of factors that we can have. We cannot have a factor which is greater than or equal to greater than m, right? So, and we don't really need to consider m also, because if we are taking m, then then the other factor, if p is equal to m, then the other factor which is q, it will be equal to 1, and 1 is neither prime nor composite. Okay, so we don't need to check for m. Okay, so what we can actually do is we can actually start from 2 itself. Okay, uh, 1 second. Okay, we can start from 2 itself, and what we are going to do is we will find if p is a factor of m or not. So how do we find if p is a factor of m? uh, p will be a factor of m if p will perfectly divide m. So if we divide m by p, the remainder will be equal to 0. Okay, so that is how we know that p is so what we are going to do here is we want to find if p is a factor of m, right? If p is a factor of m, I will write how to know if p is a factor of m or not. Okay, so if p is a factor of m, then we have to find q. What is q? Q will be equal to m divided by p. We have already discussed this, how to m divided by p. Q will be equal to m divided by p, and now we are going to check. Okay, if p is a prime number, we will discuss how to know if p is a prime number or not, and q should also be a prime number, right? Q is a prime number. Okay, then we can just say that yes, return true. Okay, then we can just say that m is a prime product. Okay, m is a prime product, we can say that, so we will return true. Okay, but if such a value does not arise, if such kind of a thing does not happen, then what we are going to do, we will be returning false. Is this clear? Is this much clear? I'll explain how these portions are computed, like how to find f p is a factor of m and how to know whether these p's and q's are prime numbers. But this is the concept of computing whether it is a prime product or not. Is this part clear? Can somebody confirm if this is clear, or should I repeat?
Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I have a doubt. That is why we are using double divide sign, like m double divide p, instead of using single
If we
division.
Yeah, if we use single division, then what will happen is you will get a real number over here, right? You will, let's say I am
Yes.
dividing, if I divide 4 by 2. Okay, if I write 4, I'm writing over here. Okay, if I write s is equal to, if I try to print 4 divided by 2 single division, then what will be the output?
2.
The output will be 2.0.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
similarly, if I'm going to do double divide, if I use 4 double divided by 2, then the output will be 2, not 2.0. Okay, so 2.0 is a real number. So when we are finding this remainder, which we will be doing while we need the factors, at that time the remainder operation will create a lot of issues. So if you use this double divide, then you will get an integer over here, and which will not create any issues with the remainder of operator.
Okay,
So
so
the
we are
remainder.
eliminating the decimal part. We are eliminating that.
Yeah, so not we are not exactly eliminating the decimal part. Both of these is having different. Both of these operators are different. Okay, this
Yes, ma'am.
operator, the 4 divided by 2 operator, is basically it will give you a real number when you are dividing one number by two. Like for example, if I am going with print 3 divided by 2 will give me 1.5,
Yes, ma'am.
because when you divide by two, when you divide 3 by 2, the answer is 1.5. Okay, it will give you 1.5. But when you are doing double divide, when you do print 3 double divide 2, then what it will do is it will give you a the quotient. When you divide 3 by 2, then what is the quotient? So that quotient value it will give you.
Okay,
Hello.
okay, got it, ma'am.
So the quotient is 1, so it will give you 1. Okay.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. So yeah. So now the question is
Ma'am,
how to know.
ma'am,
Yes. Yes.
in range function, why not m of one? Uh,
Hello.
ma'am, in range function, why not use one and m?
I'm sorry, your voice is not clear. Can you please repeat or maybe text in the chat box? Why not use? You are asking something, right? Can we solve live coding problems only during this PDSS sessions or anytime before the deadline? We will be releasing the live coding problems around 7 o'clock, before 1 hour before the live coding session. So you can try within that 1 hour, or you can try after the session is over. Okay, it will be there. We will not be removing. Why not include in range function 1 to m? Yes, you can include 1 to m. That will not be a problem. So what will happen is if you include 1 to m, then 1 and m. 1 is a factor of m, that is true, but 1 will not be counted as a prime number, right? So it will be irrespective, like it will be of no use if you are using 1 to m. It will not be an issue. You can use it, but 1 will always not work, right? 1 is never a prime number, right? So that is why you 1 is not a prime, neither a composite, right? So it will really of no use if you use this prime 1. We can use it. It's not a problem. We can put 1 to m. Okay, we can put 1 to m. It is not a mistake. Okay. Any questions? Anything else?
Ma'am, can you test run it?
Sorry, can I?
Test run.
Ma'am,
Do the
Yeah, I
test run.
haven't finished the program. I haven't finished the program. Once I finish the program, I'll test on it. These are not proper Python codes that I
Yeah.
have written here. Yes.
Ma'am,
excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, if we are taking one, then every number is divisible by one.
If we are taking, hello, hello, you're not audible.
Hello.
You're not audible.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, now you're audible.
Ma'am, I'm saying if we are taking one also, then every number is divisible by one, right?
Yes. Yes.
So that will be a factor then, no?
Yes.
So, ma'am, I think we should not be taking one.
Why not? When you check that whether 1 is a prime number or not, it will return you none, right? It will return you false. So it will not execute this part.
Okay, like
But it will
we
do
can
a
avoid also.
yeah, we can avoid also. That's the reason why I initially put it in two. But I'm saying that you can put 1. It will not be a mistake, because when you are
Okay.
doing this prime number check, it will not be a prime number. Is that fine?
Ma'am, live coding problems are graded or ungraded?
Live coding problems?
Graded or ungraded?
Sorry, can you please repeat?
Are these problems graded in our
Are the
total score?
problems?
Graded, ma'am.
Hello?
Ma'am, this is this live coding problems. Whatever we are doing right now, are they graded? Are they
No, these
considered
are
for
not
mark?
graded.
Okay.
No, these are not graded. Okay. Okay then. So now there are two parts that we haven't addressed yet. So the first question is how to know whether P is a factor of M or not. Okay. So to know whether P is a factor of M, what we have to do, we have to like divide uh, P by. So how do we know whether a number is a factor of another number or not? Okay. So this how do we know that? What we have, the idea is when we divide M by P, when we divide m by p, the remainder should be equal to 0, right? If this condition happens, that when we divide m by p, if the remainder is equal to 0, then we can say that p is a factor of m, right? So that's what we are going to do. We will use the remainder operation over here. Okay, what we are going to do is we will use this remainder operation. So m percentage p. Okay, what this percentage will do is when m is divided by p, what is the remainder? It will find that remainder and it will return that particular remainder. Okay, so when we divide m by p, we got the remainder, whatever the remainder is. Now we are going to check if this remainder is 0 or not. This double equal to will check whether this remainder is equal to this value or not, whether the left hand side value is equal to the right hand side value or not. So the left hand side value is the remainder when obtained when m is divided by p. So we divide m by p and we are going to check if m divided by p, the remainder is equal to 0 or not. If it is equal to 0, then we can safely say that p is a factor of m. Is that clear? Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
now we have to check how. Now what we are going to do is we have to check if p is a prime number. We also have to check if q is a prime number. Okay, so what I am going to do is I'll just write a function to check if it is a prime number or not. Okay, this function will take a number n as input. Okay, and it will return whether n is a prime number or not. Okay, so what I am going to do, I will start from let's say I. Okay, in range, what will be the range here? My to check whether the number is prime or not, the
2
factor.
to
And
2 to n
N
minus
2
1.
to n.
N
2 comma n.
N
2 to the square
2
root.
comma n.
2 to the square root.
No, it should be 1 to n plus 1, right? Because we need 1 and n as factors. What we need is we want to find the factors of n, right? We will find the factors of n and we will store it in some list. Okay, and if the factors are okay, why exactly were you saying 2 to n? Can you please repeat why you were saying 2 to n?
Ma'am, because we already know that 1 is not a prime number, so we don't need to check it.
No, we are trying to know whether n is a prime number or not,
Oh, okay, ma'am.
right?
But ma'am,
So
one will be factor for every number, no?
exactly, yeah. So see, how do we know whether n is a prime number or not? That is the question. How will we know n is a prime number or not?
it
Its
has
factors
it should
are
have
1
only
and
one and itself, right? It's fine.
yes,
The one and
factors are 1 and n. Other than that, no other number can be a factor of this number, right? So here there are two ways to know this. So what we can do is we can find the factors. Okay, I'm going to solve two ways. So two different ways. Okay, you gave me another idea to solve the problem, so that's why I will be showing you two different ways. Okay. Okay, so the first way is what we are going to do. What we can do is find the factors, find the list of factors of n. Okay, find all factors of n. If only 1 and n are its factors, then n is prime. Right? This is one way. The second way is we will ignore 1 and n because we already know 1 and n are its factors. Okay, we will ignore 1 and n and we will iterate from 2 to n minus 1, including both 2 and n minus 1, including both the numbers. Okay, we will iterate from 2 to n minus 1, and if any one of these is a factor, any one of these is a factor of n, then what should we say? Then what we can conclude that n
Not a prime number.
is not prime number. See, we are going between 2 to n minus 1. Okay, between 2 to n minus 1, if we are finding that one of these numbers, let's say 7 is a factor, then what can we say? If 7 is a factor, then it is not a prime number, right? So that's what we can do. We can just iterate from 2 to n minus 1, and we can say that this particular number is a factor of n. So that's why we can safely conclude that it is not a prime number. Is that fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So these are two different ways to compute whether n is prime or not. Okay. So which one of these methods do you want me to show? Okay, let's be. Sorry? Hello? Which one of these methods do you want me to solve? Let's do the second one first. Okay, we will iterate from, for I in range. What will be the range then?
2 to n.
2 to n minus 1.
2 to n. The last one will be excluded. Okay, so the range is 2 to n. So in this range, what I'm going to do is check if I is a factor of n. If it is true, then I can just say that it is false. N is not a prime number, right? Otherwise, if none of this thing happens, if this doesn't happen, then I will say that n is a prime number, right? So how do I know whether I is a factor of n or not? Same method as we already used over here. I'm just going to find the remainder. When n is divided by I, what is the remainder? I'll find the remainder and I'll check if this remainder is equal to 0. If n mod I is equal to 0, means that when I divide n by I, whatever is the remainder, if that remainder is equal to 0, that means I is a factor of n. Okay, so now what we are going to find, that between 2 to n, when we are going from 2 to n, I am seeing that there is a number such that there is a number I such that I is a factor of n. In that case, n cannot be a prime number, and hence we can just say that n is not a prime number and we are returning false. Otherwise, if this thing does not happen, then we can safely conclude that only 1 and n are the prime factors of this number. So that's why it is a prime number. Okay. There is one other way, the first one, which is basically find all factors of n. So for that we will need to store the factors. So what I am going to do is I'll use an array. Okay. There is this array. So in this array, what I will do is I'll iterate over all possible values from 1 to n plus 1. Okay, if I'm taking n plus 1, then n will be included. That is why I'm taking n plus 1. Okay, so I'll iterate over everything and I'll see again if n modulo I is equal to 0, which means that I is a factor of n. In that case, I will append I to factors. Okay, so now factor stores the list of factors of n. Okay, this factors variable stores the list of all factors for n. Now I'll just check if my factors variable is equal to this list 1 and n, can contain only 1 and n, then I can safely say that n is a prime number and I will return true. Otherwise, I will just return false. Is this clear?
Ma'am, I think it will be factors dot append I.
Oh yeah. Yes. You are right. Okay. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'll remove this first portion. Otherwise, it will create confusion. I'll just go with the second method. Okay. And then once you are done with this, you can just test run it. Okay. Click on the test run and it will run all the public test cases. Oh, sorry.
And we have not completed the function.
Yeah. Here we have to write no, if p is a prime number. So how do we know p is a prime number? We are going to call this function prime function with the variable p, with the value in the variable p, and that will return me whether p is a prime number or not. So that's what I'll do it here. Prime of p. This will return me whether p is a prime number or not. Similarly here, to know whether q is a prime number or not, I am again going to do the same thing. Prime of q. Okay. If prime of, I'll call the prime function with q, and that will return me whether q is a prime number or not. Okay. So now let's do the test run. Okay. All three cases are passed. Okay. It ran all the public cases. Now when you submit it, the private test cases will run and it will return you whether the private test cases have passed or not. Okay, when you submit it, the private test cases will run. Okay, I will not be submitting because I have logged in from my account, so that's why I will not be submitting the code. Okay, you can submit and you can try it out. Okay, is that fine? Should
Yes,
we go to
ma'am.
the next problem?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Can you just scroll up to the first?
This is being stringed. All of this code is there on YouTube. Okay, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about taking screenshots and everything. Everything is on YouTube. You can see anytime you want. Okay. Okay. So let's
Ma'am,
go.
ma'am,
Yes.
the one part of the question was to check for negative values, right? If you go back to the question.
Yeah.
So it
If
says,
m is not positive. Okay.
huh,
Yeah. There is a part of the question to check for negative values. So we should check for negative values here, right? So before we start checking whether m is a prime product or not, we should check if m is negative or not. Okay. If m is negative, then we will be returning false, right? Okay, now tell me how to check if m is negative or not.
If m is less than
less
0.
than 0.
Exactly. If m is less than 0, then we will return false.
Ma'am, I have a doubt here. Won't the existing
Yeah.
condition return already false if m is negative? Say, for example, if m is -1. So for
Yes.
p in range 2, comma -1, uh, will the code goes inside the loop? No, right?
Yes, this is a redundant case. We don't need to. I did not notice that. Good, like you. That's a good observation. So what he is pointing out is, if I'm not having this. Suppose I'm not having this, okay, and I'm inputting m is equal to -1. Suppose my m is equal to -1. Then what will happen here? Here, this particular for loop will not be executed because I am going from 2 to m. 2 to -1, I cannot go on the negative direction, right? So I am going on the positive direction from 2 to m, right? And -1 is less than 2. So that's why this particular loop will not get executed at all. If this loop is not getting executed, then it will skip this loop part and it will automatically return false. Okay, so even if you input 1 is equal to -1 or 0 or -1 or -2 or whatever, then it will automatically return false. Okay, so whether I write this statement over here or not, it is redundant. Okay, even if I write, it will not give me any problem, it will not be any issue, it can be there. Okay, but if I do not write, then also my solution, my program will run correctly. Okay, is that clear? Hope that's clear.
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, so now let's go to the second problem. There are 6 problems, so from now onwards I'll go a little bit faster. Okay. Okay, so the second problem is we will be given a string. Okay, string is basically a statement or a sentence or a word or anything, a bunch of characters put together. Okay, so we are given one string, and then there will be another string. The second input is another string, which is basically one particular letter. There is exactly one letter. Okay, so what I have to do is I have to go through the entire string. Okay, I have to go through the entire string and find the characters which is equal to this particular character. Like for example, if it is sorry, okay, so somebody has already solved and put it on the chat box. Okay, fine. But I'll just explain. Okay, so what we have to do is we will look into the, if the we have to see that the second character should be a single character. The second character is a single character. So what we are going to do is we will scan the entire string, and wherever this particular character is existing, we have to delete that character from the string. Okay, so now what we are going to see is, like for example, here we have banana, and we are deleting this character B. So I'll go through the entire string banana, and wherever B is occurring, I'll just delete it, and so the resulting string will be anana. Okay, similarly, suppose I delete A from this banana string, then what will happen? What will be the output? If I delete A from the banana string, then what will I get? B, N, N. Okay, that will be my output. Okay, if I am deleting an, then I should be then it should return the original string itself. Okay, if the length of this second string, if I am saying that delete these 2 different characters, then it will just return the original string. It will not do anything, it will just return the original string. Okay, so this is what the job of this particular function that we have to write. So what is the idea behind this function? What this function will do? So define delta s comma c. This is my input. Okay, s is the original string. S is the original string. C is the character that I needs to delete. Okay, so what I will do is, first of all, I will check what is the length of this C. Okay, so first of all, what I am going to do is, first thing that I will do is check if C has more than one character. Then what will do? Then what the function will do? I'll just return the original string back. Okay, so I'll return S. And why I am doing this is basically, it's written over here in the question itself. If C has length more than 1, then the function will just return S. Okay, or if C has length other than 1. Okay, so it is not equal to 1. If C has if C does not have one character, okay, then we can return S. Okay, otherwise what I will do is iterate over every character in S. Okay, if the character is equal to C, then I delete the character from S. Okay, this is my task. This is clear why we are doing this, how to solve this. I hope that's clear. Okay, let me know if you are having any doubts. So now, how do we know whether C is having one character or not? So there are 2 ways here. We can say that length of C should not be equal to 1. Okay, excuse me, just 1 minute. Okay, just 1 minute. Okay, yeah, sorry for the interruption. Hello. Okay, so this is what we are going to do. So there is two methods. One is length of C can be equal to not equal to 1. This is a not equal to operator. You can use not equal to operator and you can say that length of C is not equal to 1. Or you can also write not of length of C equal to 1. So what it will do is it will check if length of C is equal to 1 or not. Okay, it will check if length of C is equal to 1 or not, and if it is equal to 1, then it will say if it is equal to 1, then it will this part will become true. Okay, so when I'm using this not operator before that, it will invert it. So this part is true. If this part is true, then the output of this entire condition will become false. Okay, so if this part is equal to false, then the output of this entire part will become true. Okay, so these are two different ways to use the not equal to operator. Okay, you can write not of this thing equal to something, or you can just write equal not equal to operator over here. Okay, so these are two different ways to find whether length of C is not equal to 1. Okay, if length of C is not equal to 1, then we'll just return S. Now what we will do now, suppose length of C is equal to 1. Okay, if length of C is equal to 1, then we are going to write a for loop. Okay, so what I will do is I will use a different string. Okay, I will use a new string. Okay, what this string will do is it will store the output string. When I am deleting this character, I will just ignore whatever character that I am supposed to delete. I'll just ignore that character. What I'll do is when I'm iterating over this character in S, if this character is C, then how to delete this character from S, that we will discuss now. Okay, how to delete this character, how to do this. Okay, so what I will do is I will take a new string, make a new string. Okay, every time I encounter C, for every time I will encounter C, if this character is equal to C, then I'll just skip it. Every time I find C, skip it. Okay, otherwise append this character, whatever character you are seeing. If this character is not equal to C, then append this character to the new string. You get the idea? So I will scroll over this string banana. I'll go B, A, N, A, N, A, and so on. I'll look into the entire string, and every time, let's say my C, the character that I'm supposed to delete is B. So I am seeing B. So I will not add B to my new string. But then I am seeing A, so I'll add A to my new string. Okay, that's what I will do here. So for every character I, let's say I is the iterator. So for every character I in S, okay, so what it will do is it will just go over S. Okay, hello, am I connected? Can somebody confirm if I'm connected or not?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, so what I'll do is I'm going over S. So for what this will do is when I'm using this range, it was going over the iterator, right? Now when I'm just writing for I in S, what it will do is it will just go over this string for every character in the string. It will just go over every character in this string S. Okay, so it will skip over every character in S, and what it will do is it will check if I is equal to C. Okay, then I'll just skip. I don't have to do anything. Okay, but otherwise if I is not equal to C, then what I will do, I will connect this, I will add this I to this new string, right? So how do I do this? For that, actually with strings, what happens is with strings, if we use the plus operator, let's say my S new is a string, I is a string. Like for example, if I am taking the strings A, let's say A is a string, okay, and B is a string, and I'm going to use this plus operator on these two strings, then it will return me AB. It will concatenate the two strings. Okay, so I was having A, now I am adding B to it. So then what it will do is it will take B and put it to the end of A. Okay, so that's what we are going to do. So I am having this new S which doesn't have any string initially. Now I am seeing one character, let's say A. I am having let's say A is not equal to B. So what I will do is, to this null string, that there is nothing in this string, I am going to add A. Okay, so what happened, I had something like this. Now I am going to add the string A to it. So what will happen now? This will return me the string A. Okay, in the second iteration, let's say I am going over, I am already having A. Now I am going to add the character B. Okay, so this will return me B. Okay, now let's say I am deleting the character C. So I am looking into C. So I just want to skip it. I don't want to do anything. So even if I don't have this, part of the code for I is equal to C. If I is equal to C, it will check if I am having this part of the code. Then what will it do? It will see I is equal to C. Yes, let's say my third character is the one character that I want to delete. Let's say the third character is equal to Z, and the Z is the character that I want to delete. Okay, so this condition gets true. This condition becomes true. So I'll just continue. What continue does is it just ignores remaining part of the loop. From wherever you write continue, whatever is written below that, if you am encountering continue in any part of the loop, whatever is written that, it will skip that part for that particular iteration. So all of this will not be executed. Okay, so but here is the catch. What happens if I don't write this? If I don't write that, what will happen? If I is equal to C, this condition will become false. Right? This condition will become false, and it will just so this statement will not be executed, and it will just go to the next iteration of the loop. Okay, so I am doing nothing. If my I is equal to C, then I am not doing anything. Okay, so both of these things are correct. I can write what to do if I is equal to C, which is basically continue. Continue is basically skip the remaining part of the code and go to the next iteration, or I can just ignore it, in which it doesn't have to do anything, and it will anyway perform the continue operation, that is skip anything else that is written, and it will go to the next iteration. Is that clear? Okay, so now I already generated this new string, okay, which doesn't have this character C anywhere in it. It has deleted the character C, and it doesn't have anything else, and every other character in the original string is there in this new string. So I just have to return this new string. Okay, is this fine? Any doubts in this? Okay, now I will show you another method, and you'll think why we are doing all of this. Okay, it will seem really stupid to you because there is a string function. Okay, so what we have is there is a string function called replace. This is the second method. Okay, so this is another method to solve the same problem. Okay, but for this particular problem, you are asked to write this particular function. So that's why we have to write this particular function. But there is an existing function called replace, which will perform this entire operation for you. Okay, so what this replace thing will do is, it will take what this replace thing will do is it will take some string. See, let's say s1. Okay, let's say there are two strings. Let's say there are two strings. Okay, s1 and s2. I'm going to say that s1 dot replace s2. Okay, so what it will do is it will scan this entire s2. Okay, so what this operation will do is it will scan s2. Okay, wherever it will find s1 in s2, it will hang on. I think there is another character. Just one moment. I think. Oh yeah. Let's say. Give me one moment, okay? I think I'm getting confused over here. Okay. So this is a function. Sorry, this I'm doing a small mistake over here. Let's say I am having s1 and s2. I want to replace. Let's say I'm having the string s2, s1. Okay. What I want to do is I want to replace the substring or the character c1, which is in s. Okay, I want to replace this character with c2. Is this fine? You getting what the function does? Okay, so that's so how we have to write the function is we write it like this: s1 dot replace c1 with c2. Okay, so what it will do is it will scan s1. It will go through s1. Wherever it will find c1 in s1, okay, it will replace that particular substring or whatever this c1 is with c2. Okay, so now can you tell me how we can use this this function, this replace function, to solve our problem?
Ma'am, we can replace with empty string.
Exactly, that's what we will do. So we are having this string s. Okay, we are having this string s and we want to delete c. So what we will do is we will replace wherever the c is occurring, we will replace c with an empty string. So s dot replace c with an empty string. Okay, this is what you have to return. This is your new string. This is basically the new string. So this is what it was supposed to be. S new is equal to this. So you have to return this new string. Okay. So instead of writing two statements, we can just write return this particular. Okay. I hope this is clear. Okay.
Ma'am, I have a
So
doubt.
yes.
Ma'am, if we are replacing it with the empty string, so in our original string, we will have like the spaces, gaps. Is it something like that?
See, we will be having a space if I am replacing it with the space. Like for example, see, what I am doing is I am having BANA. Okay. Now, if I replace A with space, replace A with space, I will put a space over here. Then what will happen? I'll get B space N space N space, right? This will be my output.
Yes, ma'am.
This is my output, right? But now, what if I replace A with nothing? Then what will happen?
Okay. We will
I'll
directly
have
get B and N.
exactly. So in
Oh,
that way, I'm just deleting A over here.
okay, ma'am.
Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, in the actual environment, we can we use this replace function, or we should write the function, the one which you the first method we used?
I
This is
believe for this particular scenario, you will have to write the function.
right. Okay. So this replace is more like awareness. I mean,
Yeah, it
just
is
to
more
know.
of an awareness, but see, for
Okay.
this particular example, see, there are a lot of functions in Python that you can use. For
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
particular scenario, you are understanding what replace is done. You are asked to implement the replace function, so that's why you have to implement the function. But in further weeks, where you need to replace a statement, you need to replace some character. Let's say in week 5 or something, you are having a code where you have to replace something in a string. So in that case, you don't need to write this entire function. You can just use this particular replace function.
Okay. Sure. Thanks.
Okay. Okay. So we'll just run the code, but for that, I'm just going to delete this thing. Do you want me to test run it? Or if I test run it, then I'll have to delete this second method. If I don't, then it can be here. Okay, let's do it. Test run. Let's see the test cases. Okay, so it's working. Okay. So the third question. Okay, so the third question is, we are having two lists. Okay, you are given two lists as input. What you have to do is you have to concatenate the two lists. But what we are going to do is we'll concatenate the first element with the second element, followed by the second element with the third element, the fourth element with the fourth element, the second element with the second element, third element with the third element, and so on. So we are having 0 to 4 and 1, 3, 5 over here. So when we are concatenating, we'll go to the first element of first, then first element of second. So 0, then 1, then second element of first, second element of second, which is 2, then followed by 3. Then third element of first, third element of second. So we are having 4 and then 5. Okay, it is possible that these lists are having different length. We are having 0 to 4 and 1. Then what we'll do, we'll concatenate 0 with 1. Oh, sorry, concatenate 0 followed by 1, then 2, but there is no second element of 2, so we'll just skip it. We'll go to the third element of 1, which is 4, and we put in 4. Is that fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Is the problem statement clear?
Yes, ma'am. We have to concatenate like index wise.
Yes, we have to concatenate index wise. Okay.
The length
So
has to be checked, right, ma'am? Before that, we need to find that length of the string, whichever is least.
yes, that is exactly what we will do. So what we will do is we will define a function called shuffle L1, L2. Okay. We have a function, we have to write this function L1, L2. So what we will do, just like you suggested, first of all, we will find the minimum length for both of these lists. Okay, minimum length of these lists. So until that length, we will be iterating. iterate until the minimum length and concatenate both. Okay, then the second thing what we will do is, once I exhausted up to the minimum length, once we are done until the minimum length, whatever is remaining we will just add it. Okay, add the remaining parts from whatever is left. Is the idea clear on how to solve the problem? Okay, I hope so. So the first thing that we have to do is find the minimum length of the string. So how do we find the minimum length? We can do the usual method, which is basically
min of length, min of L1, comma L2.
Yes. I'm not sure if the sorry. Hello. There are two ways over here. If length of L1 is less than the length of L2, then we can say min length is equal to length of L1. Otherwise, we can say that min length is equal to length of L2. Okay, this is the traditional method, but in Python provides a min function. Okay, there is a min function which you can just use to find minimum of a set of or couple of numbers, or whatever you have, whatever you give as input, out of those numbers it will return you the minimum value. So I'll give length of L1 and length of L2 as the arguments, or the length of L2 as the input. Okay, so I am giving length of L1 and length of L2 are the input, and this function will return me whichever is the minimum of these two values. Okay, so I don't really need to write this entire if thing. Okay, so now once this is done, what I'll do, I'll iterate until this minimum length. Okay, so for my index will go up to, for I in range, what? I in range up to min length. Okay, so it will go from 0 to this min length. Min length will be excluded. And why we are going to exclude min length? Because the index position does not have the min length. Like for example, if my min length, suppose my min length is 2, which means that, let's say L1 is having a length of 2. Then the indices in L1 will only be 0 and 1. Okay, it will not be equal to 2. Even though the length is 2, the indices will only go up to 1. So that is why I will be having min length, range will go up to min length. Okay, these are my index values. Okay, so for each of these index, what I will do is I'll create a new output list. Okay, I'll create a new output list. What this output list will have? First of all, for this first index, I will append the first element from the for that particular index. Okay, the element at this index and the element at the index IDX for L2. Is this clear? I went over a little fast, so I don't know if we're able to.
Ma'am, can you repeat that again? I could not understand it.
Okay, so what we will do is we need to create a new list. Okay, we have to concatenate these two lists, so we will need a new list. So this is where I am creating a new list. Okay, the third thing what I will do is, for every element in the index, I have to concatenate along the index wise, right? I have to concatenate index wise. So that's why I will scroll over the indices. So I am going to start from the index number 0 and I will go to index number 1, then index number 2, and so on until min length minus 1, right? Because min length minus 1 is the maximum index in the smaller of these two lists. Okay, so that is why I am having range of min length over here. So I am going from 0 to min length minus 1. Okay, now what I will do in both of these, for each of these indices, let's say I start with 0. Okay, let's say I start with 0. What I will do with if I start with 0? My index number is equal to 0. So what will I do now? I'll append the first value from the first list, the zeroth index position, the value at the zeroth index to the output array. Then I will append. So this is what we are doing, right? What we are doing, we are going to do output dot append L1 of 0 followed by append L2 of 0, right? This is exactly what we are doing, right? L1 of 1, L2 of 1. This is what we are doing, right? Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So we are appending L1, the zeroth index of L1 first, then zeroth index of L2, then zeroth index of the first index of L1, then first index of L2. Okay. So if my index is varying from 0 to something, then can we modify this into a string, into a loop? So that's what we will do. Okay. So we will be appending the index value for the first list to, we will append the index value of the first list to output. Then we will append the index value, the value at that particular index from the second list to output. Is that clear?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
what this will do, when my index is equal to 0, this will append L1 of 0. First of all, L1 of 0 will be appended. Then L2 of 0 will get appended. Then L1 of 1 will get appended. Then L2 of 1 will get appended. Then L3 of, sorry, L2, L1 of 2 will get appended. Then L2 of 2 will get appended, and so on. Is this clear? Why this works?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If you have any doubts, then let me know. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Once I am done with this, I can just return output. Is this fine?
But the remaining has to be concatenated, right? The remaining portion of.
Oh, sorry. The remaining
Yes, ma'am.
portion has to be concatenated. Sorry. Yeah, I forgot about that one. So we have the minimum length. Once the minimum length is done, so what is happening here? I have the minimum length of up to, let's say for L1, whatever up to minimum length I have concatenated. So minimum, sorry, output. So the plus operation here also, similar to the strings, when I am using the plus operation, here also what this plus operation does is it will just concatenate the two lists. So if I am writing two lists, the list 1, 2, 3 plus the list 4, 5, 6 will return me a new list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's what I am going to use here also. I am already having this output string. I will concatenate the remaining part of these lists to this output string. Okay, so I have already seen up to the index number min length minus 1. So from min length plus, from min length onwards, from index number min length onwards, whatever is remaining in L1, so that's how that I will obtain using min length column. So this means from min length, from index number min length, column means everything else. Okay, so from min length till everything else, whatever is there, just concatenate with output. Okay, along with that, I will also concatenate whatever is there for from min length, from the index number min length till the end in L2. Whatever is there, you just concatenate it. That's what this statement means. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is, I don't know which of these two lists have already been exhausted. I don't know whether L1 is exhausted or L2 is exhausted, but I know that if my min length is more than min length is there, if the min length is some index, okay, so whatever this index is 5 or 10 or whatever, so from this 5th index onwards, whatever is there in L1, you append it. From this 5th index onwards, whatever is there in L2, you append it. Suppose L2 is already exhausted. L2 was having only 4 elements. Okay. So fifth index does not exist. Okay. So if the fifth index does not exist, this will just return an empty list. Okay. So I am having an empty list over here. So when I am concatenating an empty list, it will not affect anything.
Ma'am, but
Is
this
that
will
clear
not
about this?
throw index error if you do this way.
It should not.
Okay.
Let's see if it works or not. Okay. Let's see. It should not return an index error. Okay, it doesn't return an index error. All the test cases are passed. Public test cases. Okay, it will not return an index error. Okay. So now there is one more function that I wanted to let you know. So here what we are doing, we are appending, we are using this append two different times, right? So there are two different values that we have to append. So I am appending two different, writing this append statement two times. Okay. Okay, so I'm writing this append statement two times. Now, suppose imagine a scenario when you are having five different lists. Then you will have to write the 5 different times. This append statement you have to write 5 different times, and so on. Okay, so there is a function called extend for list. I'm not sure. Are you aware of this extend function?
No, ma'am, I never used it before.
Okay, so what extend function does is it will just append the list. It will concatenate the list. It will not like what this extend function does is, suppose I have a list L is equal to 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I am going to append two elements to this list. So I will write L dot append the list 4, 5. What will happen? What will be the output to this? What it will do is it will add this list 4, 5 as an element to L. So what it will do is L will become now 1, 2, 3 and then a list containing 4 and 5. Okay.
Nested list.
Yeah, it will become a nested list. Okay, this is the problem with append. So how can I append 4 and 5 as single elements? I will have to write two different statements here. L dot append 4 will make L is equal to, what it will do is L will become 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then I will have to append 5, which will make L is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 and then 5. Right? I have to do this two different times. Extend actually simplifies this particular problem. What I do is, if I write L dot extend the list 4, 5, what it will do is it will perform this multiple times append operation multiple times. So what it will do is it will take L. What it will return is L will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Ma'am, for this we can also use the plus operator, right?
Yes, it is similar to the plus operator, but when there are a lot of complicated operation, like complicated values, when you are having like a nested list over here, like this list is itself a nested list or something very complicated you are experiencing, then extend will make it simpler.
Okay.
Okay, you can also use, yeah, it is exactly similar to what the plus operator is doing. Okay, so here also, so instead of writing these two different append operations, I can just simply write output dot extend with the list L1 of IDX and L2 of IDX. Okay, so it will append these two numbers to the original list, or I can also write output is equal to output plus this list. Okay, all of these will do the exact same thing. These two statements for append, this one statement for extend, and this statement for using the concatenation operator. Okay, so now there is one more thing that I wanted to show. If you something called as list comprehension. Okay, Python is having a lot of advantages on how to compress these lists and everything. Are you aware of list comprehension method?
Ma'am, can
Yes,
you
ma'am.
please scroll down?
Okay, which part?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, so I don't need to explain list comprehension, right? Hello?
Ma'am, it will be better if you just give a short briefing.
Okay, so the list comprehension, suppose I am having something like for I in, this is there, no? Let's say I'm just taking this. For this particular, what I am having is, output is equal to, I'm creating a list where I'm appending one element one by one, right? So what I can do is, instead of doing this entire thing, what list comprehension does is, you can just directly create a list wherein we can just put in this for this statement over here. Okay, and what we are appending to this output list, this is the this value I'm appending, right? So I'll put this over here. Okay, so what it means is, for every index in this range min length, okay, for every index in the range min length, okay, it will find L1 of index and it will append it to output. Okay, list comprehension works for the append operation only. Okay, if you are having the extend operation, then you will have to put in two for loops over here. Okay, like for this particular example, we need the extend operation. Okay, so what we will do is, we will put in two for loops for control B, for index and range min length. Okay, what I will do is, I will okay, that will be a little bit more complicated, so let's ignore that part now. Okay, this is for the append operation. Let's discuss only for the append operation. Okay, if you want to know how to perform the extend operation, then you can look online. There is a zip function which will zip all of these values into one, and then you will have to perform another loop. That will be more complicated. So let's go with this append operation only. Okay, so why I wanted to discuss list comprehension is, suppose you are having very large lists, okay, very long lists, then list comprehension is very faster as compared to this for loop operation. Okay, so if you are having some 10,000s or 1 lakh lists of size 1 lakhs or 2 lakhs, so in that case, it is suggested to go with the list comprehension if possible. Okay, is this fine? Anything else?
Ma'am, can you explain this once again, the list comprehension? I couldn't. For
Okay, so
index
what
in range.
this is basically another way of writing this particular statement. So you want to create an output where you are just appending a bunch of these elements, right?
Okay.
So this is just another format of writing it. You write the for loop over here, okay, in the particular, while constructing the list itself.
Sure.
Okay, you are just you write the for loop over here. There will be no colons or anything. Okay, write the for loop over here. Okay, and what length you want, whatever element you want to append, you write that element first.
Okay.
Before the for loop. Okay, this is another syntax for writing this. This is called as a list comprehension.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, yeah. Now let's go to the fourth problem. It's already 9, going to be 9:30. There are 6 problems. Okay, so what the fourth problem is? Okay, so what this fourth problem does is, it will take a list as input, difference between the first element and the second element. Okay, whatever is the difference, let's say x. Okay, find the difference between the the third element and the second element. Let's say this difference is x plus 1. So this difference is y. Okay, so if y is greater than x, then you are expanding. Okay, so this is what it means. So that the absolute difference between every pair of adjacent pair of elements keeps on increasing, and not just greater than equal to, it strictly increases. Okay, so I start with the first element and the second element, and then I keep going over until the last element. Okay, and every time I encounter these elements, what I will do is I will find the difference, the absolute difference with the previous element, and this difference should keep on increasing. If I encounter a scenario where this difference has decreased, then I can just say that it is false, and I can just return. Okay, so what the idea is, we'll write the function name. What is the name of the function?
So
Expanding.
basically, we are checking whether it's an increasing pattern or a decreasing pattern, right?
Yes, exactly. The difference is increasing or not. Not the pattern should not, may or may not be increasing, but the difference should be increasing. Okay.
Okay, but invariably that is what the end result is, because if there is any decrease in between, then
Yeah, I understand. I understand, but that is
okay,
the
right. Thanks.
okay. So yeah, what we will do here is, okay. So what we will do now? First of all, we are going to. We will need to. So what we will do is we will iterate from 2 onwards. Why we are iterating from 2 onwards? Let's say my difference, I will need a base value to compare, right? So I'll start with this difference value. Okay, so this difference will be between L of 1 and L of 0, but this should be the absolute difference. I don't need this kind of a scenario. Okay, this can be an absolute difference. I want the absolute difference between L of 1 and L of 0. Okay, so now let's say whatever this difference is, I will store it with me. Now I will go from index number 1 till the last index. Okay, actually I can go from index number 2 onwards. Okay, I'll start from index number 2. Why I am going to index number 2? Because I have already seen my index number 1 over here, and I have found the difference with L of 0, right? So I am going to index number 2, and I will find the new difference from again the same thing scenario. Okay, absolute value L of 2, not L of 2. This will L of I minus L of I minus 1. Okay, so what I am doing is, I found the initial difference. Okay, I have the list. I found the initial difference, and what I'll do is I'll start from the second index. Okay, find, iterate over the, so I will iterate over each of these indices. I will find the difference with the previous element. Is that fine? Hello? Hello?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'll find the difference with the previous element, and then what I will do, I will see if this difference, if this new difference that I found, okay, if this new difference is greater than the old difference or not. And I will decide accordingly. If it is greater, then I'll keep on continuing. But if it is less, if this new difference is less than the old difference, then I'll just return it is not. L is not expanding. Is the idea clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Is the idea clear or any doubts?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. It's clear.
Okay, so that's what we will do here. I'm going to start from the second index. So that's what I am doing. I'm starting from the second index until the last index I will go. Okay, and I will find the difference of this particular index with the previous index. That's what I'm doing over here. This is the new difference. Okay, so this new difference is basically I'm finding the difference from this particular index to the with the previous index. So this difference I will compute. I computed this difference. Now I am going to check if this new diff is less than this old diff.
Ma'am, but
Okay.
the first one first absolute difference is between 0 and 1. The second
Yes.
absolute difference should be between 1 and 2, right? Not starting from 2.
Yeah, and that's what I'm doing, right?
Okay.
2, 1. This is 2. This
Okay,
will be
okay.
1, right?
Yeah.
So this new difference, if my new difference is less than the old difference, then what will I do?
It will return false.
False, exactly. I'll return false. But if it is not the case, then what will I do?
Then we will check ahead.
Yeah, I have to go
Well,
ahead. Before I go to the next iteration, I need to update
difference
this
will be new difference.
Exactly. This difference will become my new difference. I will have to update this diff with the new diff. Okay. So what will happen when I do this? So this the difference between L2 and L1 will now become my diff, and in the next iteration I will compute the difference between L3 and L2, and I'll compare these two. That will become my new difference, and I'll compare between these two values. That is why I need this update operation, wherein I need to update the diff value from this previous value with this new difference. Okay, so in the next iteration, when I compute the next difference, I will have a place to store this difference between the L2 and L1. Okay, so that is why I need this updation operation. So once this is done, this part is done actually, I can just return if this is already executing. If this entire thing has already executed, then what has happened? The new difference is always greater than the difference statement. Actually, this will be greater than equal to. Why will this be greater than equal to? Can somebody explain? The question states that the new difference should be strictly greater than the previous difference. Okay, so if the new difference is greater than or equal to the previous difference, then we will be returning false. Otherwise, it means that my new difference is always strictly greater than the previous difference. Okay, so if this loop has completed its execution, it means that every scenario, for every index, whatever difference that I have computed, this difference is strictly greater than the previous difference. Okay, so now I can just, in that scenario, I can just return true. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'll just run the test case and we will go to the next problem.
Ma'am,
Yes.
if we do this with the list comprehension, then will it be okay?
List comprehension is mostly to create a list. How exactly will you use the list comprehension over here?
Means like I will go with a return all and then absolute value of L of I plus 1.
Okay, I get what you are saying. Okay, yes, you can do that method. So this is the second method. This is what he is suggesting. What this method will do is, I'll create a new list containing the differences. Okay, using list comprehension, I'll create a new list for I in range 1 to length of L. Okay, for I in range 1 to L, I'll compute this absolute difference. Okay, and I will put it in this difference list. So now what this difference is having? This difference is basically having the difference values between these two, the different indices. So from between 1 and 0, whatever the difference is, between 2 and 1, whatever the difference is, between 3 and 1, whatever the difference is, it is storing all of these difference values in a list in the same order as it is existing in the original list. Okay, as in the original list, whatever order we are seeing, it is in also in the same order. Okay, so now what we can do is we can just iterate over this entire list, and we can see if this list is an increasing list or a decreasing list, or if there is an element such that this element is smaller than the previous element. Okay, so what we can do is for I in range of
Ma'am,
date.
even ma'am,
Sir, yeah.
even if we don't create any list, we can do it like define expanding L and then returning all absolute value of length of list of I plus 1 minus I is if it is less than length of L of I plus 2 minus I plus 1, then it is okay. Means then it's
We don't need the
working.
length. We need to find the value. We don't need the length. Why are
No,
you
no,
finding?
sorry, not length, ma'am. Absolute value of, yes, the L of I plus 1 minus I, L of I. If it's less than absolute value of L of I plus 2 minus L of I plus 1, then it's working.
So, what you are saying is something like
Yes,
for
like
I in length of,
for I in range of length of, so
yeah,
like um,
range
length
of
of L minus 2, if you do minus 2, yes.
-2. Okay.
We want all the absolute value uh,
Okay.
of of L of I plus 1
I plus 1
minus
minus L of
L of
I, I
is
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 greater
less
than,
than
okay,
L of I plus 2
I plus 2
minus L of I minus 1, I plus 1.
plus 1. Yeah, this will be greater, right? If this is greater, then we will return false.
Yes. No, ma'am. We if even if we don't return any false, means if we do it in one line, just in one line, we
Okay.
don't want for loop or if loop, just want to return it in one line, then means before the for loop for on first line, if we give this if block before the for
Yeah, what will I write here?
just the if statement whichever you write in if
Yeah.
just means before the for I in range, I want you to write the absolute value of that statement. I mean, okay, ma'am, I am showing you the
I think
code.
it will be better if you write in
Yes,
call
yes, yes,
messages.
yes. I am giving it in call message.
Sorry, can you, I am confused right now.
I am giving you it in the call message, ma'am. Wait.
Okay. 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 So put it in the message and then we will see. Okay.
Okay, okay.
So
One second.
let's test run. Okay. So the test run, I had already done the test run and it has run on all the three cases. So should I go to the next question?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, you can.
For that question, check the private test cases too, ma'am.
You want me to check the private test cases?
Yes, ma'am.
I will have to submit the test, check the private test cases, and I can't submit.
Uh, I all I just solved this problem in my way, but I got public test 3 out of 3 is pass, and in private case it 4 out of 3 only pass, ma'am. I don't know what is wrong with
Which
my
one
code.
is not passing? Which one is not passing?
Uh, can I put my code in the chat, ma'am?
Okay, put the code in chat.
Give me a minute. It looks little messy, but not really. A minute, ma'am. Oops.
Define expanding of L, all of.
I have sent the answer of the question which I was trying to do.
Return all of absolute. Okay, let's see what we have written over here. Return all of absolute value of this should be less than this for I in range this. Yeah, this is correct. This will work.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I was trying to say that it is odd. Okay.
Yeah, this should.
Is it okay if I use this?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Actually, see, you can do with any of these methods. That there are multiple methods to solve one particular problem. Okay, especially with Python, the extensive varieties of functions that it is providing, you can have any set of any way you can write it. Okay, that will not be an issue. But the problem is if you are asked to implement a function, then you will have to implement it. Okay, you can use this list comprehension and write it. That's not an issue. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Ma'am, here, what is all doing here? We never come across this all.
All is basically a function. Okay. What it will do is it will check if the all of the values are true or not. All of the values are non-zero or not. Okay.
Okay.
See, you can put in integers also. You can have like, let's say there is a list containing 1, 2, 3, 4 or something like that. Okay. Then 1, 2, 3, 4 is basically considered as true values. These are true kind of true values. Okay. If 0 will be considered as a kind of a false value.
Okay.
So it will check that all of the values should be true or not. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, what was the error that you are getting? Somebody else was having an issue? Okay, in that case, I am going to the fifth question, okay? So, what is this fifth question? Okay, so basically the fifth question is it will take a list and it will generate two values put together in one single list. So the first element of the list will contain the sum of squares of the odd numbers in the list, and the second value will contain the sum of squares of the even values in the list. Okay, so is the problem statement clear? You take a list, find the set of odd numbers, find its sum of square, take the set of even numbers, find the sum of its squares, and you put them in together in a list and then return it. Okay, simple problem. So define sum square of L. Okay, so what will we do? What should be the approach here? What we are going to do is we will find a result list. My result will be a list, okay, containing two values. Okay, so I will be initializing each of those values to 0 because it will contain a sum value. So the minimum value of a sum will be because these are positive numbers, right? Sum of the squares. So these numbers will be positive. All squares are positive. Okay. So the sum of these positive numbers, I will be finding a sum of positive numbers. That's why the minimum value will be 0. So that's why I'm going to initialize the values with 0 itself. The first value will be first element is equal to sum of squares of odd numbers, and second element will be the sum of squares of even numbers. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go over every element in L for the element I in L. Okay, if I'm writing range of length of L, then it was going from 0 to length of L, right? But if I'm writing from I in L, then it will go over every element in L. Okay, so for every element I in L, what I will do is I will check if I is even, then result will of 1. Sorry, let's go with odd. Okay, if I is odd, then result of 0 will be equal to result of 0 plus 1 else I is even. If I is not odd, if I is not odd, that means I is even. So I will just do result of 1 will be equal to result of 1 plus 1. Okay, finally I'll just return my result list. Is this clear? This we will do. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now the question is, how do we find if an element I is odd or not, odd or even? How do we find it?
Mod 2.
Sorry?
Mod 2, we check the remainder while
Yeah.
dividing it by 2.
We divide it by 2 and we check the remainder. If the remainder is not equal to 0, then we say that the number is odd. So that's what we do. We will find the remainder when we divide I by 2. Okay, and if the remainder is not equal to 0, that means my I is an odd number. So I will add the number with, actually not with 1. I have to find the sum of squares, right? So I have to find the square of I. This is fine. Is this clear? So for every element in I go to every element in I pick up that element. If that element is an odd number, then I find its square and I add it to the result value. If the element is even, then I find the square of I and I add it to the even result, which is basically the result of 1. Is this clear?
Yes.
Ma'am, can you give one example, a short example?
Okay. Here is an example. My L is equal to 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's go with 1, 2, 3. So what happens? I will go with I in L. So for what I will do is I have my result. The first element will store the sum of the odd squares of odd numbers. Second element will store the sum of squares of even numbers. Okay. So what will happen now? I will iterate over the elements in L. So first of all, in the first iteration, my I will become 1, because first element in L is 1. Okay.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I will be equal to 1. Now what will happen? What is if is 1 an odd number or even number? This is what we'll do. This is the check that I will do, whether it
Yes,
is an
ma'am.
odd or even. So now I know that I is an odd number. So what will I do? I have to find the square of I. What is the square of I?
1 itself.
Square of I is 1, and I will add it to what?
To that result 0.
First
Result of,
element of that list.
right? Result
Yes,
of 0, whatever is there. So I will add it to the same value, result of 0 plus the square of I. So what will now my result be? 1, 0.
1.
1,0.
Right? Let's do for the second iteration. What will happen for the second iteration? My I is equal to 2, right? If I is equal to 2, what is the square of I?
4.
4. 2 square is 4. Okay. So now what will I do? I was even now. My I is even. So what will I do? Which one will I update?
The second one.
Second value, which is result of 1. Okay. I will find the result of 1 and I will add whatever is the square of I to result of 1. So here my result will become 1, 4. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Does this make sense?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I understood. Thank you.
Okay. So now the question is, how do I find the square of I? So in both of this scenario, I have to find the square of I. So let's say I will just keep a variable called sq which stores the square of I. Okay, and I will just add this sq to both of these values in the both of these scenarios. Right? Now the question is how to find the square of I. How do you find the square of I?
L of I square.
Sorry?
If we do L of
I into I.
Ma'am, we do I
Double
to the power 2.
raised to the power 2.
Double asterisk.
Yes, ma'am. I into I double asterisk.
Double asterisk sign.
Yeah, so there are two ways. One is I into I, or you can do I double multiply, which is the power operator times 2.
2.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is the entire code. Okay. Let's just run it. Okay, so the test cases are done. Now let's go to the sixth problem.
Ma'am, for finding the square, we can also use the import math library, no?
Maths library.
Yes, ma'am. Like if we do import math and then math dot square root, so we
Yes,
can
you
also.
can do that. You can do that. When you have a simple operators, why do you want to import math?
Okay, ma'am.
You already have a simple operator to perform this square operation, square or cube or whatever. And why do you
Okay.
need to import math? Okay, so what is the sixth problem? Sixth problem is a little bit of a complicated problem. What you have to do is you are given a list of numbers, and for every element in the number, you have to find how many times it is occurring in the list. Okay, first of all, you have to find that for every element, how many times it is occurring in the list. So you have to generate a list of tuples. The first tuple is, let's say for example here, 11 is occurring once. So I am having this tuple. 11 is the first element of the tuple, which is basically shows that this element 11. The second element of the tuple is 1, which means that 11 is occurring once in this list. Okay, similarly you go to the second element. Similarly 7 is occurring twice, so you have to generate this tuple which says that 7 is the element which is occurring twice in the list. Okay, so that way you have to find the list of elements, the list of unique elements in the list, in the given input list, and you have to find for every element occurs how many times in the list. Then what you have to do, this is the first part. Second part is you have to sort these elements according to this second value, which is basically you take this list of numbers and you sort them using the number of times it is getting repeated. Okay, so the number of times it is getting repeated, you will sort them accordingly. You sort the list according to that and you repeat the resulting list. Okay, so there are two parts to this question. So the first part is first part of the question is what?
Counting number of occurrences.
Yeah, count the number of occurrences of the elements in the list in L, okay, and the second part is sort according to the frequency. Basically, the number of occurrences is usually called as frequency. Okay. So what we will do is we will use a dictionary, which will basically be the easiest method to find the number, count the number of occurrences. Okay. We will use a dictionary data structure to do this, count the number of occurrences. Okay. That will become really easy. So every time I encounter, for every new element, I will make a key in the dictionary and I will put the value 1 initially. Every time I encounter the same value again, the second time, then I will just add 1 to the number of occurrences. Okay. So what I am going to do is, every element, if it is not in the dictionary, that means what? I have not seen the element yet. Okay. That means I have not yet seen the element, which means that is the first occurrence. When I am seeing this element now, that is the first occurrence of the element. Okay. So what I will do is add that element to the dictionary and save its frequency as 1. Okay. If this element is already occurring, I have already seen it, I have already encountered this element, which means what? The element is already in the dictionary, right? It means that this element is already in the dictionary. If the scenario arises, then what will I do? I will just increment its frequency by 1. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Is the approach clear? Okay.
Yes.
So now
Yes,
this
ma'am.
is what we will. Okay. So this is what we will do. So I'll start with iterating over every element n in L. Okay. Every element n in L, I will iterate over this. So let's go to the first element. I see this element. What I will do? I will check if it is in the dictionary or not. Right. So I will do that if n is in frequency dot keys. Frequency dot keys will give us the list of keys in frequency dictionary. Okay, so there are dot keys is a function which will return the list of keys in that particular dictionary. Okay, so in this dictionary function, dictionary variable called frequency, I am going to look in the keys and I will see if my n is there in the keys or not. If it is there in the keys, then what has already happened? What is happening? Okay, let's go to the not operation first. If it is not in the frequency dot keys, see, I can write the not over here, not in, then also it will work. If I write not over here, then also it will work. Okay, Python allows both. It's not an error. Okay, I can write the not over here or I can write the not over here. Not a problem. Okay, so if my n is not in the frequency dot keys, that means what? I am encountering this variable n for the first time in the dictionary. Okay, for the first time in the list. Okay, so that means this is the first occurrence of this element n. Hence, I will add it to the frequency value. I will add the key n to the frequency and I will store its value as 1. The frequency of this value n as 1. Is this fine? Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So next, what do we do? We see, go to the other operation, the else part. Else part is what?
If it is in the frequency.
Yeah. What will the else part will be?
If n is in frequency.
N is already in frequency.
Increment the frequency.
Yes. So we have already seen n, which means this is not the first occurrence of n. So whatever was the frequency I have already seen, I will just increment the frequency of n by 1. Okay. Is this part clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
now this is the this is my sorry. Hello.
Yes, ma'am, we are there.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Um, just give me one moment. Okay. Give me one moment. I'm just trying to find. There was one method.
What's happened, ma'am?
Sorry.
What's happened?
Yeah. No. Actually, for the second part, we have to sort according to the frequency. No. So I'm just trying to.
Ma'am, if we use lists instead of a dictionary, I think that would be more efficient.
Actually, no. That the problem if we use list will be, if we are using list, then the problem will be finding the element when we are when we have to use, when we are doing the uh, when we are encountering the same element again.
Ma'am, can you please just check the code that I had pasted in the meeting chat?
Yeah. Sure.
It's the last message.
Yes.
Actually, we can convert this dictionary into tuples, right? Like frequency dot items will give us tuples.
Sorry.
Frequency dot items will give us tuples, right?
Yeah. Frequency dot items will give us
Then we
tuples.
can use the sorted function and write a lambda there. You know?
Yeah, are you aware of the lambda function? I know the lambda function, so that's why
Yes,
I.
ma'am. Actually, that's exactly what I did. If you can just check the
Sorry.
code. Ma'am, actually, that's exactly what I did. If you can just check the code. So, if we
Yes.
use lists, then we can use the inbuilt dot count method. So that will inherently be faster also.
Sorry, inbuilt the.
Ma'am, there is an inbuilt list method, right? Dot count. So if we use that to count the occurrences,
Yeah, I was about to say that the count function will work. I agree with you, but the problem is you have to write the code here for this particular scenario. You are asked to count the frequency, so basically you have to do what the count function does. I would have come to the inbuilt count function a little bit later.
Ma'am, so we can't use the count function.
For this particular instance, no. It's similar to
Can we
the
do?
replace function in the string case. For the second question, how we did the replace function.
Ma'am, but I just I used the count function. I wasn't aware that we weren't supposed to use it, and it
That is
passed the.
fine. That is fine. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm not saying that your algorithm is wrong. Okay. All I'm saying is the program asks you to implement the count function here, so we can't just use the count function again. Get it? What I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, so you're saying that it will accept it as a correct algorithm, but that's not what we are supposed to do, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ma'am,
Somebody
can
else
we
has.
do this? Ma'am,
Yeah.
can we do this? After completing the dictionary, the we convert into another and list.
Sorry. Once we see what
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
once
ma'am.
we,
Yes, ma'am.
once we get this dictionary,
Dictionary
what you want? We want
uh,
to convert it into list, right?
in list. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you can convert it into list. That will give list of. You just write list
The
of frequency dot items. Will give you the list of this function, these values.
and ma'am, the
Hello.
question wants list also.
Sorry.
Question wants list also.
Yes, I agree. But now the question is, how do you sort it according to the frequency? You have to sort it according to the second element of the second element of each of this sublist.
Ma'am,
So
we can use a lambda
Yes, ma'am.
function in key.
yeah, are you aware of the lambda function?
Yes, ma'am.
So I can just use the lambda function and do it. Will you be able to do? Will you be able to understand what's going on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what we can do here is my result list is, so frequency dot items will give us a list, okay, of these elements. Give me 1 second. Okay, so frequency dot items of list will give us a list of the elements in this frequency. So in this frequency, so for what this will return is a list of tuples or list of lists. Basically, the first element of this will be the value, the second element will be the frequency or the count or whatever is the key. Okay, so this will give us this particular list. Okay, so now what we have to do is we have to sort it. So for the sort it, there is a traditional method where we can just use this we have to find the minimum value of these keys, and then we can sort the keys, and then we can find the corresponding frequencies and all of that, and we can perform the sorting operation, the traditional method. There is another method which is basically you can use the sorted function. There is a function called sorted function which will take the uh, result list, and we want to sort this according to the second element in the uh, okay, so we want to sort this according to the second element of in the sublist. Okay, so in each of these sublists we want to sort according to this second element which is at the index number 2. Okay, so here to do that, what we need to do, we need to extract the second element from each of these sublists. So what we will do is we will use a lambda function over here. So what this lambda function will do is, this lambda function um, Yeah, so this lambda function will take the value input x, which is basically the sublists, and it will return the first element of this sublists. Okay, so what it will do is this lambda function will give us a list containing the first element, the element at the index position 1 in each of these sublists, and according to that, this sorted function will sort this result array, result list. Okay, so now I can just return the result
Actually,
file.
even if the first part is equal, we must sort based on the values of second part.
Sorry.
Like, if the index element at the index 1 is equal, we need to sort based on the values at index 0 based on the question.
You'll have to sort the list twice actually.
So it will, we can write it as lambda x tuple of x1 comma x0, like parenthesis we can.
Do we have to do that? The
Yeah.
final list should be sorted in ascending order by r, the number of repetitions for numbers that occur with the. Okay. If there are same number of repetitions, then we have to sort it according to x0. So that's why we have to do x0 over here, right?
Yeah.
So it will return a tuple containing x1 as the first element and x0 as the x of 0 as the second element. And now I will sort it first according. What this will do is it will sort according the sort function will sort according to the first element. If there are repetitions, then it will sort according to the second element. So this is what I am doing. The first element I am just returning. This lambda function will return the first element, the second element in the return a set of tuples with the second element as the first element and the first element as the second element. Okay, so this is how the result final will be, and that's what we will just return. Okay, is this clear? Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
let's test run. Okay, so this is done. This case, the public test cases are done. For the private test case, you will have to run it at your end, because I can't. Okay, I can't submit. Is this fine? Any other doubts or any questions? So these are the 6 problems that I was supposed to discuss. Do you have any doubts or questions or anything that you want to discuss? Any issues or any queries that you have, you can ask, or you can end the session.
Ma'am, actually, I wasn't really able to follow that lambda part. So, is there any alternative method?
Yes, there is an alternative method. Let me just discuss the alternative method. So what the alternative method is, we have the what we need to do is, see, we have to sort the values according. Let's say we are generating this list. Okay, so what this list will do, when I am applying the sort function on this list, the sort function will sort according to the values.
Yes,
Right,
ma'am.
according to this value. So what I need to do is I need to I need to generate this list. Okay, I need to generate this list such that this frequency will be in the first part, right?
Yes,
So that is
frequency
what we
should
will.
be sorted. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry.
The frequency should be sorted, right, ma'am?
Yeah, the frequency should be sorted. So the frequency will be in the first element and value will be in the second element. Then I will apply the sort operation and then I will reverse it. Clear?
Yeah.
What we will
So,
do? Wait,
okay, so
I'll do that. Okay, don't worry about it. So
okay.
what I will do is we will do this result of, we will create a result. Okay, I will use the list. I will use the list operation here. Okay, so list comprehension here. I'm using list comprehension here. Okay, so for every element n in frequency of keys, what will I do? What I need in the list? I need the value first, right?
Yes,
The
ma'am. Yes.
frequency first. The frequency of n will come first, and n will be the second element, right? Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So now what I will do, my result final will be sort the result, right? So this will sort according to the frequency, and if the frequencies are same, yeah,
Yes,
if
ma'am.
the
Yes.
if the frequencies are same, then it will sort according to n. Okay, this sort
According to
operation
the
will,
value.
yeah, this sort
Okay.
operation will sort accordingly what is required. But now this is not what we need to return. This cannot be the final result. Okay, let's say this is result 1. This is an interim result. Okay, we cannot return this. What we need to return, for every element in this result of 1, the n should come first and frequency should go next. Okay,
Yes.
so that is what we will do here again. My final result will be this list for the tuple, the first set. Okay, whatever is the element. Okay, element in result 1. Okay, so for the first element, what will be the first element? It contains a list of a tuple of 2 values, and I have to invert these 2 values. Okay, so
Yes,
it
ma'am.
will become my element of 1 comma element of 0. Is this clear?
Okay. Yes, ma'am. It's clear. Thank you.
Okay, we have to return result final. Any doubts?
Ma'am, sort function will always take the first element of the tuple for sorting, right? That's the assumption. First,
Let me check. Let me check. What short index will be?
Sort refers to the first element by default, and if those two are matching, then it will refer to the second and then the
Second
third and so
element.
on. That is why when we do that lambda x1 comma x0, that works because it refers to the first element first and then the second one if they are equal.
Let me verify. Okay, if sort will work or not.
Ma'am, there is an error in the code.
No, yeah, there will be sorted. Sort doesn't do.
Yes,
Sort
ma'am,
will do.
sort is dot sort, so that would not return anything.
Yeah. Sorry.
Ma'am, there are two versions to sort the list, right? A sort and dot sort. There's dot sort and sorted. So if
Yeah.
you use result dot sort, then it will throw an error.
Why?
Ma'am, because sorted returns a copy of the list, but dot sort sorts the list in place. That means it does not return anything.
Yeah, yeah. So we will have to write something like this. No, result 1, result dot short
Yes, ma'am. We can't assign it to anything.
to anything. Yes, yeah. But dot sort will not work, right?
Ma'am,
Because
it
it
will
will
work.
it is table sorting, right?
Sorry, ma'am.
Um, um, list dot sort is stable sorting or unstable sorting. If
Ma'am,
it is
it's
stable sorting,
exactly
it will not work.
Ma'am, it's exactly like sorted. The only difference is that it sorts it in place instead of returning a copy.
Yeah, so if I write this, then it will sort. If the frequencies are same, then it will sort according to n, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Yeah. Okay. So we can use result dot sort, and then result final will be equal to element and result, or we can do this 3 different ways. Okay. Okay.
Ma'am,
Anything
just one more
else?
doubt. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, here we did not use the dot count method because that was what we were being asked to do. But
Count. Yeah.
yes, ma'am. Ma'am, but in the real life examples, it is better to use the dot count, right? Because that would be faster. Or would it be
Yes.
the same speed?
No. That will all inbuilt Python functions are all the Python functions. This kind of functions, no, like this key dot keys dot sort shorted. They are using very low level languages to perform these
Yes.
operations extremely fast.
Yes, ma'am. So the methods are in C, that's why, right?
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Any other doubts or questions? If there are no doubts or questions, then I'll stop the streaming and end the session. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank
Good
you.
night.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.